As protesters push to reopen states' economies, one governor is taking steps to do just that. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp announced today that some businesses will reopen as early as this Friday. Take a listen to what he had to say at a press conference earlier today.
Today, we are announcing plans to incrementally and safely reopen sectors of our economy. Given the favorable data, enhanced testing, and approval of our healthcare professionals, we will allow gyms, fitness centers, bowling alleys, body art studios, barbers, cosmetologists, hair designers, nail care artists, estheticians, their respective schools, and massage therapists to reopen their doors this Friday, April the 24th.
And as that announcement was made, there are still 19,000 coronavirus cases across that state. Keisha Lance Bottoms, mayor of Atlanta, Georgia, joins us now for more on what she plans to do as the leader of the state's most populous city in response to the governor. Mayor, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Lindsay.
It took a considerable amount of time for Governor Kemp to issue a stay-at-home order for Georgia. Of course, you had issued the same guidelines for the city of Atlanta weeks before he took action. So do you now plan to keep Atlanta locked down despite the governor's order for some businesses to open as early as this week?
Well, Lindsay, that's what we're having our attorneys look at now. It appears that the governor's order supersedes anything that I can do as mayor. But I certainly still have my voice that I can use. And what I will continue to ask Atlantans is to please stay at home. I have a great deal of respect and regard for the governor. We work very well together. I'm not sure what data the governor is referencing in helping him make this decision. I've not spoken with him. I talked with the mayor of the second most populated city in Georgia, Mayor Davis in Augusta. He's not spoken with him. So we don't know what the governor is looking at. But what I do know is that we had nearly 19,000 people who tested positive as of this evening. We also have had an increase of 13.8% in deaths as of this evening. So the best description I received was from Dr. Carlos Del Rio, one of the infectious disease experts at Emory University. He said it's like climbing Mount Everest. And just because you make it to the top doesn't mean that you can't die on your way down. And there also may be other peaks that we may have in this state. So I am extremely concerned about the announcement the governor made. I hope that he's right and I'm wrong, because if he's wrong, then more people will die.
Well, you all have access to the same numbers, the same statistics. Why wouldn't you be on the same page? And did he give you a heads up? You all have not had any communication in advance of him making today's announcement?
Well, again, the governor and I communicate regularly, and so he did not communicate with me on this, and that, of course, was his prerogative as he is the governor of this state, but we did not communicate. It's very clear that our thoughts on where we are with deaths and the people who are testing positive and our testing capabilities are not aligned. I would say, to the extent that we've had any good news in Atlanta, it's because we were very aggressive in this city. With a metropolitan area of nearly 6 million people, we've had less than half the cases in the state with more than half of the population. But that's because we've been aggressive. One of the biggest hot spots we are seeing in the state, I understand, is in Bibb County, near Macon, Georgia, where they didn't shut anything down. And so, again, I hope that the governor is right about this, but I am certainly concerned.
I just want to circle back one last time on this. Just last week, you said, I think the biggest mistake that we can make is to be so eager to get things back to normal that we put people's lives in jeopardy. Are you concerned that the governor's plan to allow the shelter-in-place order in Georgia to expire in just 10 days might do just that and put people's lives in jeopardy?
Lindsay, we have to live to fight another day. And I understand it is extremely concerning when people don't know how they will eat and how they will pay their bills. But these are concerns that you have when you are amongst the living. And if we don't continue to distance ourselves, if we don't heed what we've seen happen in other cities, our population will be at risk. Our biggest outbreak in the state came from 2 funerals, by and large, in Albany, Georgia. And so for us to go back to opening up houses of worship just seems a bit premature to me.
Atlanta, of course, has a large African-American population with underlying conditions. You've said some of the highest asthma rates in the country as well. We know that you've created an advisory council to reopen Atlanta. What's your timeline for reopening, and what's the criteria for doing so?
Well, this is why I created an advisory council. I think that it's something that we need input from a cross-sector of people, from people who do business in the city, but also from our health experts. And so I don't have a timeline. My timeline will be based upon what the scientific data says. And if the data says we can open back up, we will open back up. But if the data says it's too soon, then it's nothing that I, as mayor in good conscience, can be in a rush to do. I think where we can expend our energy is to look at ways that we can alleviate some of the hardships for our communities. We've done it through small business loan funds. We aren't disconnecting water service in the city. We are standing up a loan fund specifically for beauties and barbershops. And so I think that we need to continue to be thoughtful in providing ways for people to feel comfortable staying at home. But I think to rush to open back up our state could cost us lives.
And lastly, the Kaiser Family Foundation founded a study released last week. The Georgia ranks low as far as the number of citizens who've been tested. Do you think that increasing the number of people tested is part of the key to reopening?
It absolutely is key, because in this state, as I sit here now, we still are not testing people who are asymptomatic or people even with mild symptoms. And so until we can broadly test everyone who I believe has been in contact with someone who is tested positive or has reason to believe that they have been exposed, I think that we will all be at risk. And again, I can't supersede the governor's order. The governor is the governor, and I respect his position and have enjoyed a close working relationship with him. But I certainly cannot in good conscience say that I agree with his order, and I will continue to use my voice as mayor of Atlanta to ask people to continue to stay home, follow the science, and exercise common sense.
Mayor, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate your time.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.